Hi there. I hope all is well in your life. God bless. Today we are looking at a show that I have appreciated for a long time. This video is covering the Kevin Pollak chat show and its host Kevin Pollak. So grab your fedora and let's jump right into it. Who is Kevin Pollak from the Kevin Pollak chat show? If you're curious about celebrities and their personal life, then you most likely find yourself watching a lot of chat shows or, as they are more commonly known, talk shows. Chat shows have been around for decades. Some of them are very glamorous like The Tonight Show, but some are smaller but definitely more in-depth. The thing about chat shows is that late night shows have popularized the idea of asking about celebrities and getting to know them. But these shows usually have segments that are quite short and barely dive deep into anything, but instead act as just a part of a marketing campaign to promote whatever movie or album or book the guest is doing. Because of this, podcasting has allowed several hosts to create their own chat shows without the restrictions of late-night TV and really dive deep into the celebrity's psyche and personal life. While some podcasts are more about getting a celebrity's insight about a certain topic, like the Joe Rogan podcast, other podcasts, such as the Kevin Pollak chat show, are all about the celebrities themselves and getting to know them. Who is Kevin Pollak? Kevin Pollak is a famous actor, podcaster, stand-up comedian, and director. He was born in San Francisco, California in 1957. As young as 10 years old, Kevin was interested in comedy and did stand-up. He spent a long time doing stand-up in San Jose, even before making it big as an adult. Perhaps his most defining talent was his ability to impersonate. He did it all throughout his career, and as a teenager, he was even acquainted with impressionist Rich Little, and they performed together. Kevin started his career as a stand-up comedian, before making his big screen acting debut in Ron Howard's Willow. His early roles were in movies such as Ricochet, End of Days, and A Few Good Men. Perhaps his most famous role was in The Usual Suspects, playing Todd Hockney. Even though Kevin mostly did supporting roles, he still amassed quite an impressive filmography, doing over 80 movies besides his stand-up comedy shows. Although he came from a simple comedy background, he managed to rub shoulders with the biggest stars in the business such as Tom Cruise, Kevin Spacey, Jack Nicholson, Val Kilmer, and more stars that he acted with. While he was acting, Kevin was also doing numbers on TV, hosting some popular shows such as Celebrity Poker Showdown and $1 Million Money Drop. He also had a role in the miniseries The Lost Room on the Sci-Fi Channel. He even had recurring roles in shows such as Shark, Mom, and Better Things. His biggest show was perhaps Amazon's The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Not only was Kevin Pollak a star in front of the camera, but he also had some experience behind the camera as a director. He first directed the web series Vamped Out, which he also acted in alongside Jason Antoon, Sina Kofod, and more. He then made his way over to movie land with the movie Misery Loves Comedy, which premiered at the 2015 Sundance Film Festival. Shortly after, he also directed The Late Bloomer. Although his directorial debut was more horror, he really shined in directing comedy as well as starring in it. Just like the most famous comedic actors of all time, Kevin also got his start in stand-up, and his most prominent stand-up piece was Stop with the Kicking on HBO. As a result of all this success, Kevin was named one of Comedy Central's top 100 comedians of all time. In 2010, Kevin had his own comedy special titled Kevin Pollak, The Littlest Suspect. He had sold out comedy tours that spanned several cities. As far as his love life is concerned, Kevin got married to the comedian Lucy Webb in 1995, and they were married for a whole 15 years and did some movies together, such as Outside Ozona, before getting divorced in 2010. They still have 2 children together, though. Kevin's impressions continued to impress people for years. He impersonated some of the most famous folk out there, such as Woody Allen, Robert De Niro, Eddie Murphy, Liam Neeson, Jack Nicholson, Al Pacino, and more. There is one story about him fooling Alan Arkin by doing an impression of him on his answering machine.
His phone answering machine, and this is the message I left on Arkin's machine. Dude, message to myself. I know there was something. Oh, yes, get some dog food for Jesse, that's it.
Like most comedians, Pollak is very serious about his comedy and the art form of it. While most people think comedians are just silly, it's incredibly hard to actually pull off comedy convincingly. Comedic timing is everything, and the performer's personality definitely shines through whatever material they are doing. For Pollak, his comedy has a very light tone to it, but it's also incredibly clever and witty. He's one of those comedians who spend more time telling you a funny story rather than a joke with a punchline. In an interview with Voice, Pollak discussed his comedy and career, saying, "What I'm seeing is, a lot more comedians are touring the world, a lot more comedians are playing theaters instead of just clubs. And yet the small indie theater, club scene is thriving, with alternative acts as well. And some alternative acts are blowing up on a world scale as well. So I can't imagine a time that was bigger and more exciting for stand-up than right now." The Kevin Pollak Chat Show. In 2009, Kevin Pollak started his own chat show which streamed on YouTube. The popular chat show broke the mold of traditional shows, as the episodes are much longer, sometimes going over 2 hours. On the show, Kevin Pollak interviews celebrities and goes in depth about their life, opinions, history, experience, and more. Kevin has interviewed actors, comedians, directors, and more. Some of his most famous guests include Tom Hanks, Jason Alexander, Bryan Cranston, Paul Rudd, Jason Lee, Larry David, and more. The show is a great opportunity for fans to get beyond the surface level knowledge they have of celebrities that they get from their normal interviews or social media. Even though Kevin is a comedian, the chat show is very much serious, though it has light moments and jokes in it. It's an opportunity for two industry moguls to sit down and discuss their lives, giving the audience a window into the glamorous celebrity life. Still, the show does have its fun segments, such as the Larry King Game, in which the guests do a funny Larry King impression to say something about themselves.
Every disease I have ever had in my life, I got from Shirley MacLaine.
Other segments include Tweet 5 and Who Tweeted, which are Twitter games where the guest has to answer questions from Twitter or guess who out of 3 female celebrities tweeted something. Perhaps the funniest gag from the show is one where Kevin pauses suddenly to make the audience think the show was buffering, but then reveals that he was just kidding and saying you're not buffering. Even though the Kevin Pollak Chat Show was widely popular and pioneered the idea of shows that delve into celebrities' lives such as the Joe Rogan Experience or Sean Evans' Hot Ones, the show is unfortunately no longer on air. The show ran for an impressive 10 years with nearly 400 episodes, and its final episode aired in March 2019. Kevin attributed the show's end to his busy schedule and the fact that in Los Angeles, being asked to be on a friend's podcast became like a jury duty notification, as said in an interview with Voice. Kevin Pollak did experiment with other podcasts, however, as he had another podcast called Talkin' Walkin' where he interviewed guests while doing a Christopher Walken impression. In 2018, he also started a new comedy podcast called Alchemy This. With an impressive resume like that, Kevin Pollak continues to dominate the Hollywood and the comedy game. He still does stand-up comedy in some shows like Better Things, and even tried his hand at voice acting in the animated movie based on the video game Injustice, where he got to voice the Joker himself.
And look at what you became, the punching, kicking embodiment of wrath. What do you think he'll become?
Which is fitting since the Joker's origin was that of a failed stand-up comedian, unlike Pollak. Interestingly, though, Pollak actually prefers doing live shows to movies, as he likes to see the audience's reactions. It's unknown but seems unlikely that Kevin Pollak will continue to host chat shows or podcasts, but he has definitely left his mark on audiences worldwide. A comedian from the age of 10, he will definitely continue to make us laugh and smile for years to come. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. What did you think of the video? Do you have a favorite chat show interview? Have you watched many episodes of the Kevin Pollak Chat Show? Thanks again for watching. Please have a great day. Now get the heck out of here.